What will it be? Indeed. No idea. But today, we're going to be changing the alternator on this beast. A few days ago, I was driving around and got a warning on the dashboard that said, battery not charging. So what does that mean? Bad alternator. Now she's been sitting around a few days and she is dead. Dead, 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 dead. So dead. So, I'm gonna run some power out there. And we're gonna get started on charging that battery back up. In the meantime, I'm gonna take the Toyota to the auto parts store. And I'm going to try to maintain a positive attitude. All right. I went with the remanufactured. This was $259. Anyway, I get 40 bucks back. $259, and I get $40 back. Whew. Chin up. Chin up, I said. I should just need this one ratchet set. All right, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop the charging of it for a second. I may need to charge it up later just to get it cranked up. I'm no mechanic, but I know the first thing I should do is disconnect the negative battery terminal. And of course it's an 8mm. BRB. I've got an 8mm ratchet and wrench. I got a 8mm ratchet and wrench. 8mm ratchet and wrench. And now I can unscrew this screw. Have to put it on the right way. All right, that's done. Let's move over to the alternator itself. So actually the first thing that I need to move is this little cover right here. I believe that is also an 8mm. Yeah. Okay. For this piece, we've got a couple of hose clamps that are tightened by a flathead. So we're gonna get those loosened up. Seems to be it. All right, so to take the tension off that belt, I got a 15mm socket and the closest thing I have to a breaker bar. I used to have a breaker bar. I wonder where it is. So if you've never done this before, this is your belt tensioner. And all you gotta do is get your 15mm on there with the breaker bar. This little bendy one is actually pretty handy, so I'd actually kind of recommend this. And as you turn to the right, as if you're tightening, it will actually loosen the tension on the belt. And if you get it far enough, you'll be able to get it off of the alternator like that. And then just let it dangle until you have to tighten it back up. Okay, so now with the help of the step stool, I'm actually kind of sitting on the front of the vehicle, right over the fan and radiator. And it's making it real easy to access this. First step is going to be to remove this little wiring harness, and there's a release on the back that I can pull on. It pops right off. Next up, we're going to disconnect this ground wire. If you take a 12mm and put it behind there and put the 10 on top, then you're able to loosen just the 10. And this nut's probably going to come on the new alternator, but just to be safe, try not to lose that one. Okay, we're moving on to the two main bolts that hold this thing in. And I'm gonna guess 5/8. Yep. Okay. Oh, good Lord. Nah, I'm getting a pry bar. Crowbar, demolition bar, whatever you want to call it. That should make easy work of getting that thing out of there. There's a little tensioner on each one of these holes. It's sort of like a spring washer kind of thing. And I'm sure that's to keep it very tight so that it doesn't suffer from too much vibration. And there you go, old alternator. By the way, it's a gorgeous day. New alternator. Blah, 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 stop, dangerous, blah, blah, blah. You might kill yourself, blah, blah, blah. All right, you're gonna save this box because your other alternator probably has a core charge to be refunded, and you're gonna put it back in this box to bring it back to the auto parts store. All right, let's get her in there. The first thing I wanna do is I wanna give myself a little bit more space by moving these tensioners back out. And to do that, we have a trusty old hammer. Just a couple mils. Don't want to upset those too much. It's gonna make it a lot easier to just drop this in. Comme ça. Okay, let's make sure first that the wiring harness is correct and it snaps right in. And it does, yay! Now, when I tighten these bolts down, those tensioners will go right back into place. I knew the alternator was bad before it died because the lights on the interior and the headlights and all the lights in the whole system were doing this like strobing thing. And I did try to catch it on camera a bunch of times, but I never really could. I tried different lights, I tried different frame rates. It's really hard to capture it on camera. But I noticed that strobing, and that kind of told me that the voltage regulator is bad. The voltage regulator is inside your alternator. So I knew it was only a matter of time. And then one day I was driving pretty far from the house and got the notification that my battery was not charging. And that just means like when you get to your destination, you might not be able to crank your engine again. You probably get one start, maybe two starts off of a fake battery charge, like with a battery charger or something like that, or a jump. That battery's not going to be fully charged. So you're going to get one start, and then you're going to get to your destination, and you may not be able to start it again, and you'll have to get another jump. People are usually pretty good about that, though. If you don't have another vehicle, you can charge your battery and you can drive straight to your auto parts store, and they're usually pretty cool about you borrowing a couple of tools and just doing this in their parking lot. Okay, we're gonna get these nice and tight. I'm not gonna He-Man them because there's a tensioner in there. So as soon as I can't move that bolt anymore, I'm gonna call it good. I don't have a torque wrench, so I'm just guessing. All right, so we're gonna get that ground wire back on there. What I've done is I've taken the connection and I've taken a bit of 150 grit sandpaper and given it a good little rub-a-dub. Make sure we have a nice good connection for the ground. Get that back on there. Grab our little nut. Get it started. Grab that 10 mil. Let's give a try to getting that belt back on. And we're gonna pull as much as we can. Grab the belt on this side. Now, double check yourself. Make sure you don't have any twists. Make sure everything's seated properly. And it is not. And that's why we double check. Shouldn't need too much. Down here on the bottom, it's not quite lined up. And now it is. And that's actually why it was so hard to get on, because I was missing about 3 millimeters worth of belt. If that had been seated properly in this pulley down here, it wouldn't have been so difficult to get in. Just making sure that's right. This looks right. That looks right. That looks right. This is right. Okay, I think that's good. As long as this screw, guys, it does not need to be that long. That's what she said. All right, let's get our battery negative hooked back up. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my charger hooked back up, and we're gonna try and recondition this battery. There it goes. Okay, so now we're reconditioning the battery, and I'm gonna let that kind of cook for a few hours, probably overnight. To make sure the battery's fully charged before I start it back up.
Thank you so much for making it this far. Throw me a like, maybe even subscribe. If you like the vids, there's more to come. And I'll see you then.
I think we got it.